the messaging of our show, it's for people who are getting out, right? People whose military career is coming to an end. And one of the biggest things that people struggle with is the culture shock of maybe moving to corporate or in industrial or working in retail or whatever people like really, are striving to do, or entrepreneurial. So you're addressing two of those big things. You're an entrepreneur and you're also dealing with corporate people. So what is the biggest problem or gap that you see in teams of people who have never served, never had an experience like yours, and coming out of the military?
Well, that's absolutely why we started the Trident approach to begin with. About 2 years before I was getting ready to retire, I started thinking like, well, this is getting real. Like, what am I going to do when I get out? And people don't understand that there's a lot of growing up that needs to happen with people in the military. Even though you may be, in your late 30s or early 40s and haven't been working in this professional environment for 20 plus years, you're kind of always told where to go and where to be and what to wear and all that stuff. And when that date hits, that's now up to you. And it may sound like a little thing, I think, to most people who have been doing that stuff every day for, their civilian lives, but, it's something new and significant for those of us who weren't. So there was that. There was that whole thing, like, how am I going to take care of it? But more importantly, for me, I need to be surrounded by people I can trust. And I also need to be surrounded by people that can trust me. And whether I'm right or wrong, my idea of what life is like in the corporate world is that you kind of have to fend for yourself if you want to succeed. With the term that we use in the military is kind of like serial bowling, like, this is mine, this belongs to me, nobody else can have, input on this or whatever. And then you go to your boss and then you show them like this, whatever it was that you're working on and say, hey, this is me, I did this. And honestly, I would just drown in that environment, because what that ultimately ends up leading to is kind of, infighting, kind of creates scenarios of distrust. And like I said, I just would not be able to survive in those types of environments. So I had two options. I could either get a job with other veterans, where living in that supportive, mutual supporting, environment is just, that's stuff that just goes unsaid. It's just understood. Or I could start my own company. And so I decided to start my own company, but I didn't necessarily know what I was going to do. And then I went to the Honor Foundation with you and Mike, and through some really hardcore kind of self-introspection, kind of figuring out who I was, why I'm here, what I was born to do. I started connecting the dots, and I was like, man, the most common question I got when I was serving on active duty from corporate leaders was, how is it that you guys work together and communicate together so well? And I was like, man, I've got answers for that. And not only do I have answers for that, but if I can play a part in helping people get to a place in their work where they trust the people that they're with and they're happy to show up to work and they're really kind of doing what they were born to be doing, like, that's a huge, awesome and amazing way for me to spend, the next chapter of my life. My whole entire professional life has been in service of others. And, but for that to be my new mission is just awesome. And so, yeah, when you're an entrepreneur and it's up to you to do, you got a blank slate. Whatever you want to do, you could do it. And being in that position and just kind of creating your own path, you're retiring, so there's a sense that maybe, you've got a certain number of years under your belt, but man, it's rejuvenating. There's this whole brand new energy that I wake up with every day that I didn't necessarily have, the past couple of years, especially in the teams, So, yeah, it's been a really awesome journey. We're doing well so far. Just really fortunate and lucky to be where we're at right now.